Big Pimp.
What up, Big
What up,
Pimps?
Big Pimps?
What up, Big Pimp?
What
Big
up?
Pimpin'.
I'm laughing because you big
Ain't
mad.
simping.
Hey.
Big Pimpin'. Hey.
I gotta pee so bad.
Just kidding. I know that, too. So what's up? What's up, party people?
What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's
It's
up?
your boys, Adam and Tez, in the building.
All Circles Media in the building. Parts of us.
Yeah.
Two of us.
We're the only ones that, shit, this past
You know, the sick bug, you know, it's out. Not COVID, not COVID. The you know,
As
just
far
the
as we
little
know.
cold, the little cold bug, you know, with the weather changing, because fall came around. Not
Yeah, it
playing,
was like-
bro. It's like, hey, you ready for fall? Like literally,
It was hot one day, and the next day it was like,
literally, it was hot. And we had that tornado. We had the tornado
Yeah.
warning, and then Fall said, "I'm coming behind the tornado." If you don't know,
coming.
so just for the record,
all right,
Let me-
it came like this. Ready?
I don't have a.
Nice.
Yeah, you see the little pop, Yeah.
But yeah, how crazy was that? A tornado, it like touched down in multiple locations. Did you
Oh
hear?
my god! Like so. Okay, so
Ridiculous.
I live basically in the middle of nowhere, and we don't have a basement. So when my phone went off, I'm just
You're
like,
where do I go?
well, what do I do? So like I'm sitting there, and this is actually hilarious that we're talking about this. So I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, well, what do I do? So Jamie and JJ is asleep. I'm just like, well, it's just me awake right now. So I try to wake up Jamie. Nothing.
Oh,
I'm just
no.
like, hey, there's a tornado warning. She's like, back to sleep. I'm like, okay, all right. So then my phone goes off. It's Kevin. He's like, hey, is the weather bad around you? I was like, nah, why? He was just like, okay, well, they got us like in the storm tunnel at work.
Oh my
so,
gosh.
and I was like, oh,
Damn.
okay. He's like, yeah. He said, I tell you to go to my house, but I locked it. He was like, you can't die right now, bro. You're leading the charge. Like this, you better figure it out. Like if it gets bad, you're gonna have to go to the station. He said you can't go out like this. Like it not right now. Like we can't lose you right now. I'm like, bro, I'm already ahead of you. Like if it gets bad, I'm driving away from I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. But yeah, it was crazy. It was literally crazy.
Like it, cause it had it like kind of it bounced. I think.
I knew I knew there was going to be a touchdown because where I was at my house, I looked out the window. Like I said, there was nothing. It wasn't crazy or anything. It wasn't even raining where I was at, but I could see where it was dark over like Maslin and Jackson, all that. And like I looked up and I looked directly up, and the clouds were moving. Yeah, like they were moving, and I was like, "There's going to be a tornado somewhere. There's no way there's not," because I could see where the clouds were moving. Like towards the actual storm, like how they were moving with the storm, but then I could also see where it was spinning because the one cloud that was sitting on the bottom of like the one that I could actually see was moving, but it was moving in like a circular rotation. And I was just like,
it's not good.
That ain't good. But like it wasn't moving around me. Sign. It was like the tail end of it. It was like sitting over like Maslin and Jackson. I was just like, They don't get tornadoes like that.
No, we are not over there.
And then like I get on Facebook and it's like tornado touchdown in Jackson. I was like
damn.
Glad I'm not in Jackson.
Yeah, it was like because part of it touched down in Canal Fault where I live, and I was like, oh dang, dude. I was I don't I have like a garage, but I don't have a basement like under the ground.
Right.
So I was like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, like that happened one time when we were working at Starbucks. I was like at Starbucks and the tornado like thing went off, and I was just like, hey,
we don't have, there's no basement here.
There's no basement here. Where are we going? And it was just like,
well, I guess I don't know. Go in the
walk-in. They said go in the walk-in cooler. I don't know. Bathroom. I think the bathrooms. I think they tell you. Didn't they tell us to go in like doorways if you didn't have a? Yeah, I don't know if I trust that. Like, why would this? If the tornado already doesn't give a fuck about the house, why would he care about this doorway? Like, he's not gonna just leave the doorway. It's like, there's a person in that doorway. All right, you cool, bro. You cool. No, he's gonna take the whole
coming
bitch.
For you, or like something's gonna hit you in the face.
There's nothing left. That you need the basement. The only thing that's going to save you from a tornado is a basement.
Yeah, except for with that, there was that one scene where the tornado's coming and they strapped themselves to that pole in the middle of the freaking barn, and somehow that was the only thing that held on.
Why? Also, why is it every time there's a tornado? Have you ever noticed in every major like movie, like where there's a national like travesty when it comes to weather, someone always gets hit with a sign.
Yeah,
every single time someone gets hit with like a stop sign, or like because like didn't someone get hit with a sign in Twister, and then in the day after tomorrow that lady got hit with like the billboard sign. And
you gotta
I was
watch
like,
out for them signs.
Bro, why is somebody always getting just disintegrated with the sign? Like
they'll come for you. They're like, because I mean it's like a sale. Almost like it comes with such force. You're gone.
That billboard's just sitting up there, just waiting just to kill somebody. Like, yeah. Speaking of which, this is an update. Can we talk about Alec Baldwin for a second? That has been that's been like the hot topic of my entire week.
That's been so crazy.
Like imagine.
And I can't get a clear story of what happened. Like.
What happened is the prop guy had beef with somebody. I don't know who he had beef with on that set, but he had beef with somebody on that set, and he loaded that gun. That's the only logical explanation. Yeah. He loaded that bitch and said, "This is Alec Baldwin's problem."
Yeah.
Whatever happens, like, and like I was like, I hate to say this, but like I thought about it, like that's the cleanest way to get the cleanest way to get away with murder. Honestly, if you just blame it on somebody else, you're a prop guy. You just, let's say you weren't supposed to be a prop guy. You were supposed to be an actor. You got passed up by somebody. You're not the prop guy. Just load that gun up. Yeah. Give it to whoever it's supposed to go to.
I heard that the guy that was responsible for loading that gun had safety that people were like. There had been safety issues in the past with that guy too. So I'm like, God. Maybe he could also just be like terrible at his job.
Yeah, but that guy just might be really terrible at his job, and Alec Baldwin is going to pay for the rest of his life for that.
When that happened, I kept thinking like that lyric from Kanye West where he's like, it talks about how the cop looked like Alec Baldwin. I was like, that kept coming up in my head.
That did not age well.
Did not age well.
Like, just imagine, like, I was telling Jamie, like, just imagine just going, like, Alec Baldwin is a prized actor. Like, he's been doing this for years. So just imagine going to your job, not thinking anything is going to go wrong that day.
Yeah.
You have shot thousands of prop guns. You have done thousands of movies. You have,
TV
done it
shows,
all.
everything,
TV
yeah.
shows. You've done it fucking all. And then you go do, I don't know if it's supposed to be some major movie, if it's supposed to be a B movie.
I heard it was like kind of a low budget movie.
But say you go do a low budget movie and then you end up with a murder charge. Like, I just like at that point, I just I'm done acting because at this point he's probably never gonna do another movie with a fake gun in it. He's gonna and if it is gonna be a fake gun, he said I must load it myself or I have to watch the prop guy. He's gonna be just sitting there just like
making. I would.
All right, is all this right? Is everything right? And like I guess the story is I read today is that he was literally showing them what he was going to do. And
it was like a rehearsal. Like they were supposed to he was supposed to shoot it or pointed at the
he was
camera.
like working on whatever he was supposed to be doing, and the gun went off. And the cinema
shot her, and then went back to the director because he was standing like right behind her. So it got two. It had to be
a bullet. It couldn't.
Crazy,
they said shrapnel, and when they said shrapnel, and I said, wait.
Yeah,
you said shrapnel and it killed one person and hit another person. There's no way that's shrapnel.
And it's kind of like because like those things are loaded with either like bits of paper or plastic, like the fake bullets. So there's still like something coming out of it, like,
right? And like
my brother, he actually worked up at Cedar Point at the Frontier Town, and he was I think he played the sheriff or something. So they had like those prop guns that were like the real, but they are modified so that they can only take like blanks.
And like I've even like we've all heard the stories about people like popping eardrums with the blank and stuff like that. And like even I like thought about it to myself last night. I was like, sorry. I was like, if you really think about it, there's not too many movies that there are people shooting people on a close distance anymore because of that, because of all of the issues that they have had, just from not even from shrapnel, just from the fire of the blank, like just because it's so loud or just because of the little fireball that comes out of it. It's still like to be in close proximity, it's still dangerous. So they don't even really like 9 times out of 10, if you do see a shooting scene, it's people shooting from a far distance away. So that if there is that anything comes out of it, it's either going to not hit them or not hit them fatally because it might catch them in the shoulder or something, like if they're like doing their scenes correctly, because I know they go through gun safety, and I know they don't just like as actors, like they get paid millions of dollars. They're not just pointing guns at each other. So I know like they know what they're supposed to be doing. So it's just like one of those situations where automatically that it had to be on whoever was loading that gun. Like it couldn't have been Alec Baldwin's fault unless he literally walked in with his own pistol and was like, "This is mine. This is what I'm using." Like he's not in charge.
Well, this is the thing. I think, and like part of it, I'm kind of like I do feel for Alec Baldwin, where I'm like, he, like, if somebody gave him the gun, like the prop master was like, here's your gun, cold gun, because that's what they're supposed to say, cold gun. That means that there's blanks in there. But he's also one of the producers too, so he's in charge. Like at the end of the day, he is in charge of that whole operation. And people were talking about
understood. I mean, he's just taking responsibility for himself because nobody even really thought about that either. I didn't even think about that until just now. But like, kudos to him for even saying that, like for even taking the responsibility to say like, hey, this is an unfortunate situation that I could easily pawn off on somebody else, but I'm gonna take responsibility for it because I'm the producer. Like, but then at the same time, being the producer and being an actor, you can only oversee so much. That's why they have so many producers. Like I know. I mean, if he is the producer, I know he wasn't the executive producer, the only producer on set. So where it is his fault, I feel like it's a collection of everybody's fault. They definitely should have made sure, like maybe even like, I can't believe they didn't test it. Like I can't believe they didn't test a cold gun before that shot. Like, wouldn't you think that would just be safety protocol? Like if I have a gun that supposed to have a blank in it, I'm gonna test it before I point it at anybody just in case. That's just gun safety, I feel like, or maybe not, but Like,
yeah, I'm not sure what the protocols are, but
they teach you even in gun safety to never point the gun at another person and to never have your finger on the trigger. So there was a lot of things that went wrong in that situation because even if he was practicing what he was doing, why was your finger on the trigger?
That's true. Yeah.
So if his finger was, and that's the other thing, if his finger wasn't on the trigger and it still went off, so then you're talking about all kinds of different faulty gun problems.
There's another layer to it because I don't know if you read about the union crew had walked off earlier that day, so they had brought in some extra guys that were not like union, and like you have to do.
They brought in extra protection. They said, "All right, so y'all got this. Y'all good? All right, but we're gonna go home." Hey, someone just died. What?
Yeah, like
we just left.
Yeah, like it was crazy. Like, and so I knew there was some of the reasons that like some of them have said, like in police reports, where that like there were some unsafe conditions already. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
I mean, low budget movie. I mean,
like. And
that's the sad thing about those low budget movies. I mean, that's when you see the most times when people think. I mean, this isn't the first time that somebody has died on set, doing something.
Yeah.
But like when you talk about low budget movies,
yeah, you can't mess around with those.
You can't mess around. Alec Baldwin, I'm surprised he even did it. To be honest with you, it was his movie, so maybe it was just low budget because like a lot of the times those. Producer/actor movies do end up being low budget just because you're putting in so much money yourself because you're the producer, you're doing the acting, so you're overseeing the whole thing, and so a lot of the times you don't get all the extra like accolades that you would get from like a prize-winning producer. Like, not saying Alec Baldwin, not trying to knock Alec Baldwin at all, period, but like I could see where it would be a little bit lower budget if it was his movie. Because I mean, I'm sure he's done a lot of movies, but how many movies has he really produced?
Yeah, I don't know, because I know I don't know if he's ever like been a big star in a movie. I know he's mostly in like television, that kind of stuff.
That's true.
Yeah.
He was in all the crazy. Wasn't he in Friends for a stint? Yeah, he was Phoebe's boyfriend for like an episode or something like that.
Yeah. I just started watching. I actually just finally got around to watching 30 Rock. I don't know if you've ever seen 30 Rock.
It's 30 Rock.
That's with Tina Fey.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Is that
and
okay?
Why can't I think
all
of
right,
Tracy
so
Jordan?
I get 30 Rock and Parks and Recreations mixed up sometimes.
They're kind of
there's The Office,
like a genre,
and there's like they're all the three same. Like I'm pretty sure that did The Office start before Parks and Recreation?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure
that Parks and Rec was almost kind of like a spin-off.
I feel like they were just all spin-offs of each other. I feel like The Office started it, and then Parks and Recreation spun off The Office, and then 30 Rock spun off of Parks and Recreation.
Yeah,
I just feel like it was just a
I've always wanted to get into 30 Rock, and I never did. It's pretty funny.
I heard that the first season, and that's talk to anybody about any show ever is what they're gonna tell you. Just skip the first season because that's just how it is.
It sets it up, but yeah, I think they hit their stride in the second season.
I mean, because even The Office, I mean, it wasn't really kicking until the second season. It takes
a while to get into.
Yeah, it definitely takes a minute.
Yeah.
Because my favorite series of all time, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, they changed the whole ass set the second season. Yeah. They went through a whole new makeover. Like it's like bloop bloop. Yeah. I think I love shows that people break is it the third or fourth wall? Which wall is it?
Fourth wall.
Is it the fourth wall where you actually talk to the camera and you're like very involved? That's why I liked the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air because he was always he was looking at the camera or like talking to the crowd or like so the one time one of my favorite scenes is he was like. He said something. They said something about them being rich, and this man literally looked at the camera. He had a paper in his hand. He said, "We so rich. Why we ain't got no ceiling?" And it points up. It points up to the studio ceiling and everything. And he's just like, everybody starts laughing. Things like that. Like him, Ryan Reynolds. Like I love stuff like that.
Ryan Reynolds, man.
And like how they did, and even when they did it with like the do they do interview processes with 30 Rock like.
No, it's they break the fourth wall occasionally. Like there was one time they do like the whole show was about
they leave bloopers in. I know a lot.
Yeah, it was about like sponsorships and stuff, and then they like mentioned like three things, kind of like what Wayne's World did, where they like mentioned certain brands, and then they're like, "Can we have our money now?"
Yeah,
it's speaking of sponsors. We got a Cathla.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if they're technically sponsoring this podcast, but we just wanted to give them a shout out.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They'll be here next week. So
Brian will be here.
All right. So now that we're
next week.
Now that we're Transitioning into the updates. Yes, sir. Brian, is he the sole owner? Is he?
I think so.
I think the sole owner of Akathla Clothing. He is my sponsored outfitter, Master Puff sponsored outfitter. A couple other artists in the area. He is also affiliated with All Circles Media, and with the big news that we actually made the podcast about to kind of promote out a little bit. They are going on tour. So, All Circles Media, Akathla, Heart of Haven, and a couple of other
Lion Turtle,
a couple of other good big names are putting together the With the Influence tour. That will actually be featuring your one and only Master Puff. That is his actual tour. He this past year went and competed in a competition, and he just took the house. And with some of the winnings that he got, it was a tour in his honor and for winning and everything. And he brought on a gaggle of phenomenal artists. He obviously brought on his business partner and his best friend, Jonathan Smart, of course. And then he brought on T-Lova, I believe is from, where's T-Lova from?
Not sure, actually. I know he's releasing a CD.
He is releasing a CD. Yeah. I'm sorry I don't know where you're from, T-Lova. I wish I had more.
I think, is it Cleveland?
I think it is Cleveland.
I think that's where he's releasing the CD.
Yeah, I think it is Cleveland. So you got Cleveland's T-Lova. You got Canton's own Nakaso. You got Canton's own Andretti Bone.
Who was here last week.
Go
watch that episode.
Who else was on that before I get into the rest of it? Who else was on that main card before I get into the rest of it?
I'm trying to think.
Is that it? Is it Puff, John, T-Lova, and Jetty Bone?
Yeah,
I'm gonna look it up.
Forget anybody.
Yeah, I don't want to forget. I don't want to forget nobody. So let me look it up real quick. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, we don't need. We don't want smoke.
No. Plus, if you're going on tour, I want you to get the exposure that you're supposed to get. So I don't want to leave nobody out.
While we're looking, also our All Circles Media website is live, guys.
Live and running.
So go check it out. AllCirclesMedia.com. We got the domain and everything. And that'll have all the tour dates and everything too.
Look at Puff. He got 1.7 followers on Facebook. Go ahead, boy. Go ahead.
1.7?
Yeah. Go ahead, boy. So we got Cleveland's own T-Lova, Canton's own Nakaso, Canton's own Andretti Bone. You have Mousen's own Jonathan Smart and Master Puff. And then joining on the tour, there is a couple other artists that I just cannot think of their names right now because it was only said to me once, and I'm so sorry. But me and Ambition will also be traveling on tour as well, but it's not about us. It's about your man, Master Puff. Like I said, he was the one that put the legwork in. He was the one that won that actually won the event. He was the one that pretty much got everything set up. He's the one that brought me on. He's the one that,
He's the master.
He is the man. He is the man. If you don't know much about Master Puff, like he said this past weekend, he tries his hand in just about everything. So he's been rapping for about the last 10 years. He said about 10 years. Around for the last 10 years. He got really serious a couple years ago. This past year, his career really started to take off. But also, while his career was taking off, he decided instead of him waiting around to wait for opportunities to come to him, he decided to start making his own opportunities. So he started his company, Lion Turtle Media, who then started running shows and coordinating shows. They actually put me on my first show, and I believe 3 more shows after that, and then they are also helping organize this tour. So they've been doing crazy things this year. I mean, or these last 2 years, to go from not coordinating shows to now basically, having your hand in a tour is phenomenal. So I applaud them so much on everything they've done. I've seen their process. It's a long, extensive process, and it gets tiring after a minute, but the end result is definitely what they worked for. And they've definitely seen a lot of success. They've seen a lot more success than other people in the industry, even while they've been so early they've competed with people who have been doing it for years and have done better than what they have. They, we just did a show at the Oracle. It was the first time that I think any of us had actually performed at the Oracle, and they actually put it together, and they basically, they didn't run it, but they basically coordinated everything for the show. They did all the promotions, they did all that, and they did a phenomenal job. We did really well that night. We got people out there, got people drunk, got people partying, got people having a good time, and that's all that really matters when it comes to being a performer. You just want people to come out and have a good time. And
actually, can I do the tour dates and where they're at?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So first off, this one we got one we called the Halloween After Party. It's not technically part of the tour, but we're gonna have Tez there. It's gonna be sick. He's gonna be performing his new album coming out.
Yes, sir. Demon War Z coming out on Friday.
It's gonna be lit.
Coming out on Friday.
We got a music video in the works, and it's looking freaking crazy.
Yeah, I just I over the last year or so, I went through different styles of music, and I tried to figure out what was the best niche for me and what my music was about. And my music was always about my mental health, and that was a big thing. But then I realized that it was, with the platform that I have, I can reach other people to then help them with their mental health. So that was always a big thing about me is my love for Juice WRLD's music was because of my mental health. It helped me through a lot of hard times. So when he passed, that's why it felt like a piece of me was gone, because the strong connection came from his music and getting me out of those troubled times. So, and I know that I wasn't the only person in the world that felt that way.
Yeah.
And I knew that, eventually there would come a time where someone else would have to step into those shoes. And I felt like, for whatever reason in the world, I felt like it was my turn to step into those shoes. And I did. And the rest is history. Here we are now, a year and a half later on, Tez Radio.
Yeah.
That's still so crazy to say, but I'm just trying to promote, to take care of yourself. If you got things that you're battling with, do what you got to do to talk to somebody, to figure it out, to get the help that you need, because, you're on this earth for a reason. Whether you see it, whether you don't see it, you are on this earth for a reason. There's something for you to fulfill. So you fulfill that. And if you don't want to fulfill what you think is supposed to be your destiny, then make your own destiny. You can do anything in your life that you want to do in your life, and nobody can tell you can't. Literally nobody at all. So just do that, and you'll reach mountaintops. I mean, look at me. I went from being, what's the word I'm looking for? S-word. I went from being S-word to 45,000 streams in 74 countries and my own radio station. So, you can turn it around. You can definitely turn it around. So
yeah, dude, that's dope. But yeah, so that's gonna be November 5th. We're calling it the Halloween After Party.
Yes, sir.
We're doing a costume contest. It's gonna be at the Lovely Ink Studio above Milestone Games downtown Canton. We're getting Charlie Parker. We got Ev. We got Cobra J.
Wait, give me 1 second. Speaking of Ev, let me give a little promotion out to Ev, since I forgot that they were on the Instagram. That man Ev is actually dropping an album, and I want to make sure I get the date right. Yeah, that's why I wanted to get on Instagram real quick. I'll make sure I get the date right. He is dropping an album this week, actually. The day before mine. He is dropping an album. It's called Baby Neutron, and drum roll, he has Trippie Redd on his album.
Oh,
it has been,
snap,
yes,
dude.
It has been confirmed. I have seen the confirmed. I have seen the post. It's been shared all over Instagram. Congratulations, bro. If we had the little soundboard, little celebration thing, we hit it for you.
The only pause I have, bruh.
Yeah, sometimes we be talking about crazy shit, so we weren't prepared. But yes, he's got Trippie Redd on his album, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
That was a good dude. And then we got Cobra J, Jonathan Smart's gonna be there, Master Puff, Ambition, and then Tez is gonna be headlining that show. It's gonna be sick. We're gonna bring a costume. We got I think we're doing $100 prize for the best costume. I believe that's what it is. And then the kickoff for the tour is going to be November 20th at Agency 111 in Canton, Ohio.
Yes.
Then we got the second one on November 27th at McAlpine Meadery. Represent
McAlpine Meadery. And actually, I want to let you guys know, we performed out in Kent this past weekend, right?
Yeah.
We finished the performance, and there is a McAlpine Meadery banner.
Oh, yeah. That's
on
so crazy.
the fucking, this cabinet thing, and I'm just looking at it just completely baffled. Like, how the hell did McAlpine Meadery from Beach City make it all the way to Kent? Because they're completely opposite directions. So it was like, wow, it was good to see, especially good to see where you start out.
We were like, this is where we perform.
My first show. That place will always be special to me. Will always be special to me. No matter where I go at in life, as long as McAlpine's Meadery, I would definitely always go back there to keep myself humble, because that was the first place that I ever performed at.
They represent. But yeah, that McAlpine is November 27th. December 3rd is at the Eclipse Ultra Lounge in Columbus, which is such a sweet name.
That's such a sweet name. That's gonna be
Eclipse
a fire
Ultra.
song.
Sounds like a Frank Ocean song.
Eclipse.
And then December 4th is the Mockbee in Cincinnati, the Natty. And then December 10th, we're going to be at the Palace in Akron, Ohio.
Ooh, Akron, Ohio.
Hopefully LeBron's going to stop by.
Yeah, shoot him a DM, maybe.
That would be cool. I don't know.
I'm taking advantage of my. I'm letting the Tez radio go to my head. I'm like, oh, I got Tez radio. People will respond back to me. No, I'm playing. No, I'm kidding.
December 11th, it's going to be Studio One Live.
Where's that at?
Pittsburgh.
Oh, wait. That's what I was about to say. I thought that was, because that's why I was. Isn't that like a big place too? Studio.
I think so. Yeah,
because I swear
I've heard some big names perform there.
I like Studio One Live. I swear is a big. I swear it's a bigger venue.
Quentin, can you look up Studio One Live and see who's performing there? Because we gotta
I mean, we performed before at Riff Raff, so I mean,
that's true.
Oracle's a big place. Riff Raff was tiptoeing in my Jordans.
You see that TikTok I posted?
Bro, I saw that, but I didn't. Was the music playing in the background? Yeah. I didn't hear the music playing in the background. I was just too busy. It's a
Hunger Games filter, or not Hunger. It's
Squid
Game
that
filter.
Fucking filter is hilarious because the first person I saw, she was like, "How do I get this to move? Oh, my lips." So like every time the baby stopped, she would stop, and instead of her just talking to make her person, she's like, I'm like, bro,
you just gotta talk.
Just talk. Please just talk.
I just like kind of tiptoeing them. It was the best song, dude.
Or the people who are like trying to like talk to the camera, but they have to stop in between. Yeah. They're like, yeah, so yesterday was, I made a chicken and I put some seasoning on it, and it was like,
it was great. It was like first try too. I was like, this.
I don't know, man. I've seen a lot of.
Huh?
I couldn't find it.
I couldn't find it.
It still sounds like. I swear that's like a bigger name place. I swear I've heard that before.
And then we're in Cleveland for December 17th at the Courtyard, and T Love. That's the album release.
Okay.
And then the ending at the Vault in Worcester on December 18th.
That's like usually always the last place. Yep. Like it's like the home place.
Yeah.
I feel like at this point, Puff should just like reside there.
Yeah. Just like perform there occasionally every week. Speaking of, well, I don't know if we should get into that yet. Shit.
We'll keep you updated. We got some
cool stuff in the works.
So still in that same topic, we'll talk about. So this Thursday, all right, we actually landed a pretty cool gig. There is a new bar out in Kent. It's the same bar that I did my album release party, which turned out pretty nice, actually. I'm very, very thankful for the opportunity that was given out to me for that. But so out at the Burnt Pickle in Kent, there is a new bar / nightclub, or trying to get there. That's definitely what they have the vibe, they have the space, but they're brand new. So they're trying to get more attraction out there. They actually asked All Circles to, or actually they asked All Circles to ask DJ Adam Robb. Let me make sure. Let me get that right.
Kind of, but I don't know. Yeah.
Both. Well,
basically
DJ Adam Robb works for. Yeah, but DJ Adam Robb works for All Circles. It's his company, so they asked for them both. But they, so he'll be up in Kent every Thursday, and we're gonna try to work out a couple things. There's some opportunity arising in that location. So with it being so close to the campus, and we're starting to get into the time, which is weird. I feel like more people party when it's cold out.
Yeah,
than
they
when
do. It's
like,
weird.
During the summertime, you don't really see people going out to the bars. They're just at their own house, just getting drunk. But then once it gets cold, they're just like, just go to the bar.
Yeah.
Like, and it's crazy.
Let's go freeze
with,
outside.
yeah, with it being prime season time to start partying with Black Friday, Christmas.
Yep. All the drinking holidays.
Yes, school letting out, coming back in, all that good stuff. We're gonna try to work out some opportunities to maybe bring some a new vibe up to Kent.
So it's right next to Kent State University, so we're trying to get into that college crowd.
That like
some of the college kids.
You can literally, the kids at Kent State University, if there's anybody that goes to Kent State University, can literally walk to the Burnt Pickle. So go ahead, the Burnt Pickle. It is. Let me give you the actual address.
And this Thursday, we're gonna be trying to shoot some scenes for a music video that we're working on for Tez. It's gonna be freaking sick.
This will be if you want to be a part of my music video, let me tell you right now. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I'm gonna give you a little inside secret. All right, I don't normally talk about my own things like this. This music video is going to be one of the hottest music videos that is going to drop this year. I promise that. I literally, I wouldn't be saying this if I didn't believe in it, because I'm just that type of person. I don't talk about things I don't believe in. I've seen the shots. We have done 2 shootings for this shot already. We have done 2 shootings for this music video. We're going to be doing our 3rd on Thursday. If you want to witness history, go to Kent. I'm giving you the address right now to go to Kent. The address is 1655 East Main Street, Kent, Ohio, 44240. If you want to be part of history, I'm telling you right now,
this video is crazy.
Come out to Kent. Come make history. Come be a part of a fire video. Come see what is about to happen, because there's a lot of things. I've done a lot of music over this last year and a half. And, I'm not going to say that, I like one song better than any other song. But as an artist, as a beginning artist, you know what's going to happen. So, like, even as I'm releasing music this whole time, there was never a time where I was just like, you know what, this song is going to hit. And then when I made Loco, Kevin was like, yo, bro, this song is fire. I hope you know that. And I was just like, I was kind of on the fence about it, because like you never really think about that stuff when you're making music, because you're just trying to get to the next. You're trying to get to the next point. And he was just like, this is fire. Did Loco, dropped Loco, 5,000 streams in a week.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Okay, bet. So I did this song. The message of this song has gotten the attention of just about every single person who has heard this song. No matter if they know me, if they don't know me, if they no matter what the case is, it has gotten the attention of almost every single person that has actually heard this song or actually paid attention to this song. So when I tell you that history is about to be made, I'm telling you, history is about to be made.
Yeah, man.
There's about to be.
And we're doing this with like a shoestring budget.
Literally.
But we pulled out all the stops. We called in some favors. We got some cool stuff.
Yeah, we called in some pretty cool favors, and shout out to the demons that I'm not gonna give out any names. I don't want to give out no information yet, just because it's. I'm really excited. Like I have never been as excited as I am for this right now. Like this is like, of all the songs on the album, that's the one that I know is probably gonna.
It's freaking.
It's gonna
fire.
pop. It's gonna pop.
Hot fire.
Hot fire.
Super
hot
fire.
fire.
But yeah, other than that, what else we got going on?
Well, I think at one point I said, I think sometime in the album I do say, spitting so much fire, my address is the cooler.
Oh yeah,
I
that's right. I remember that.
Spitting so much fire that my address is the cooler.
Yeah, but we are starting. So we got on our website. We're kind of trying to branch out and help other artists. So Master Puff is gonna start doing like press releases and stuff. We have like a little blog page where we're doing press releases, album reviews, something like that. So if you guys want to, if any artists out there wants to send us stuff, feel free. We'll do whatever. We're trying to put out content, and if you want to work with us and do like We cover live events, like live performances. We can do music videos. We can do photo shoots. We're trying to set up a photo shoot space upstairs to do like really nice headshots and stuff like that. So if anybody wants to work with us, go to our website.
Yes.
allcirclesmedia.com. So, but yeah, I think this is just kind of a small one. We have some people working tonight and a couple of people out sick. So this was kind of a just me and Tez.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, we're just going to rock it today.
What the? Oh, my God. Okay.
What
Nothing. We're just, I'm just going to skip past. What the? Okay. All right. No.
You get some news?
Yeah. No,
Is it good news?
No, it's not.
Oh, no?
It's definitely not. That's. Fuck. Yeah.
Bro.
Fuck. I'm sick of losing people this year already.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Someone I went to school with, I think, passed away.
Oh, man.
Or I didn't actually go to school with him. I basically grew up with him, and I just, I literally just found out that I'm going to push through this because what the fuck? All right. Finish this thing.
Yeah, we might have to end this. All right, yeah, well, next week.
We'll catch y'all next week.
Brian Michael Crone. Is it Crone? Yeah, I think it's Crone.
I don't want to mispronounce it. I'm bad with mispronouncing things.
But he will be here from a Catholic clothing. So be on the lookout. We're going to be doing it's going to be sweet. It's going to be a good old time.
It's going to be a good week.
Yeah.
Demon War Z coming out.
It's coming out. It's going to be nuts.
I will go ahead and push this out now. This upcoming album is actually being dedicated to a friend that I did lose this.
Yeah. That we used to work with.
Not this one, but the one that I used to work with. He lost his life to some unfortunate circumstances, and that's kind of why the vibe of the album is so heavily on
Mental
depression,
health.
Mental health, depression is one of the big ones. I pray, and I hope that this album changes someone's life. I hope it touches someone the way that I have been touched and the way that I want to, get myself out there. I hope that someone who is in a bad time, who is going through something bad, hears my voice and hears my message and says, you know what, I can do this too.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what was done for me, and that's what I want to do for other people. And it sucks that, unfortunately, what happened with Juice WRLD, but if I can do anything at all, I'm going to at least try to continue what he was trying to promote.
Yeah.
Just because, that wave was something that the world needed to see. And
did you post a video about why Juice WRLD somebody asked Juice WRLD why he makes sad music? I saw someone retweet or repost something like that where he was like, right now things are going good.
But there's still so many. I know exactly. He said things are going good, but there's still so many problems in the world: depression, anxiety, overdose, substance abuse. He said, and those are the things that people need to hear. They need the one thing that music has done over the years is just kind of masked people's feelings. They don't let It's getting better. It's getting way better as time goes on. But for a long time, it was just kind of music and let me rephrase. Hip hop music.
Yeah.
Hip hop music was just kind of music. It didn't. I'm not gonna say it didn't have any messages or didn't have any meaning, but it was just kind of people were just kind of making music for people to dance to and have fun to. But at a certain point in time, if you're a hip hop artist and you're not always going to be in the mood to go out to the club or something like that, you may be upset, and now you have to completely change the genre of music that you listen to just to find some music. So I think the greatest thing ever was when people started talking about their real problems and they started putting their real problems into music. Then you could actually relate to these artists and realize that, and the other biggest thing is with the motive with a lot of artists nowadays is that they're, artists are living an Instagram lifestyle, and people think that artists are these untouchable people who don't have any problems, who don't see any type of issues, who don't see anything at all. And then the biggest thing, the reason why music has heightened so much is because artists are no longer celebrities. They are celebrities, but they're no longer celebrities. They're regular human people too now. When they start talking about music, you start putting your emotion into music, and people realize that, I had a drug addiction, or I had this, or I had that, or I get sad, or I'm sad, or stuff like that. That's when people start to relate with the artist, and then you got more people because I can't tell you how many times that I've listened to music where I'm just like, I like this song, and didn't really listen to the lyrics. And then when I listened to the lyrics, I was like, no, I really like this song.
Yeah.
So like, even myself, I'm still trying to get into the way of I'll do it to this day. I'll listen to a song for the first time, and I won't really listen to the lyrics. I'll just kind of listen to the beat and be like, this is pretty nice.
Yeah.
But then not even realize what he's saying. But like now towards the days, I'll try to listen to the lyrics first before I even make a decision on what the song even sounds like, so I can, try to see if it's, something that I would really go for. But when you start talking about your real life problems and, people start to cling on to you and they connect to that, and those are the things they're like, this person's going through the same thing I am.
Yeah.
Because mental health is the biggest like problem in America right now. Like it's, we saw it becoming a bigger issue and a bigger issue and a bigger issue, and now it's gotten to the point where people are just, you're losing people left and right to substance abuse, some type of anxiety, depression. I lost somebody this year. Girlfriend lost somebody last year or the year before that. Even for what it's worth, like the coroner came out for what happened for coroner. I don't think that's the right word, but the obituary and everything came out for Juice WRLD. But like, we all know why he passed away. It wasn't just because it was just a random, overdose. He had a problem. He had a substance abuse problem. So like, you see it all the time. You see it with people, like they have these problems and they just try to hide them off. And like, the one thing with Juice is like, the reason that it was so sad to see him pass is because he didn't hide it. He didn't say he never said I didn't have a problem. He would say it all the time. I have a problem. And then to see him go down that road and to lose his life to that problem, it's like, damn, like it was a cry for help. He was literally asking for help. But at a certain point, people can only help you as much as you help yourself. And when you're an addict, he probably doesn't even realize that he's not helping himself because he's an addict. He's just trying to get his fix because he's trying to, he just kind of shadowed, or he buried all of his pain with all of that, so he doesn't know how else to cope with it. So he doesn't even realize that he's being difficult to even, like, because even that was something that I had to deal with too, because I had my own problems, and I went through them, and I had to realize that I was being a difficult person. And that's what a lot of people who have addictions and who have problems don't understand, is that like, we're stuck in this, not stuck in a mindset, but we're so, at a certain point you get so tunnel vision into everything is bad that you don't even try to see where the good might be, or if there is any good. You're just like, no, everything is bad. And like, he was crying for help and people were trying to help him, but he was being difficult and he just wasn't. You don't see that. That's the hardest thing about working with someone who has an addiction, is that they want to help themselves, but sometimes they physically cannot because of the addiction, and they don't even realize that they're becoming difficult, and that's why people don't help them. That's because they've done so much. They've done everything they could. You're being difficult, and I can't tell you're being difficult because then you're just going to get more mad. So it's kind of like at a point where you don't know what to say.
At some point, it's like you don't want to drive somebody further away.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so you're just kind of like,
it's a hard balance.
I'm going to just let you kind of do you. And like, because like, I've always had people like, be like, I don't know how somebody could be friends with someone who's like on drugs. I mean, if you're friends with somebody who was before that and you saw them go down that path, like, you don't just be their friend and don't try to help them. That's the problem. If you try to help them and you've done everything you could and they're like that, and you still take care of them to a degree where they don't like take advantage of you, but to a point where they're not just out on the street by themselves, like, that's still being a good friend, because you're not casting them out to the world, but you're not like letting them live in your house either. Like, if you see, like if he hits you up and he's like, hey, I need some money, you'd be like, all right, well, I'm gonna buy you whatever you need, and if like, I'm not gonna give you cash, like, because that's the thing, is like 9 times out of 10, you like, most people will help out a drug dealer as long as he doesn't ask, not a drug dealer, a person who's on drugs, like, as long as he doesn't ask for cash, because once he asks for cash, then okay, I know exactly what, you're probably just gonna go take it somewhere. So no, like, I've always been adamant of like, I'll help somebody out if like I can buy it for them and I know where it's going. But knowing how I was and going down that road already, I already know what's gonna happen if I give you this money. So I don't want to be the cause to what's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, I learned a lot because I worked on Skid Row.
You right, you worked on Skid Row.
And that was like
that was probably an eye-opening.
It was
experience. You were born here, right?
Yeah.
That was probably the most eye-opening experience of your entire life to go from like, because they talk about Canton, Ohio, like this is mini Chirac, and you go to fucking Skid Row and like, bitch, Canton who?
Yeah, Canton's nice.
Canton is a 5-star hotel compared to Skid Row.
Yeah, like Skid Row, like I mean, I had to learn like, because there's actually a good movie with Robert Downey Jr. and Jamie Foxx called The Soloist. I don't know if you ever seen that.
Is that? So, I know that Robert Downey Jr. had a alcoholic problem. When did he have that problem?
I think it was like when he was making this movie, I think. Okay. Yeah, because this was before like
was it right before Iron Man?
This was before Tropic Thunder. This was before like Iron Man when he like really blew up.
Because I think Iron Man was when he finally got clean and he was being okay. And I was actually just watching a thing about talking about. So if you ever noticed in any of the Marvel movies, Iron Man is always eating on set. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's because he was an alcoholic, because it's the hand him out thing. And so he's not drinking, he's eating. So like in in the first Avengers movies when they're talking and he keeps asking people for blueberries, it's all improv because he was just eating blueberries on set, and he just kept going with, he's like, he would say his line like blueberry, and like the one thing is I saw Mark Ruffalo, he like he obviously didn't break character, but he like raised his hand like, what? Okay, he just took it like whatever.
It's kinda like Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt's always eating in every freaking scene of every movie he's ever been in.
He's just got a back of chips. Like, hey, what's up, guys?
But one of the cool thing about that movie that I learned was I don't know if you know much of the backstory, but it's based on a true story. There was a guy actually from Cleveland, Nathaniel Ayers, who's really like gifted at the cello, but he had schizophrenia, and his family was always trying to help him, but he kind of drove them away, and then eventually ended up on Skid Row, and he was he met I forget the character's name, but Robert Downey Jr.'s character was like from the LA Times. He was looking for a story, and he discovered this guy playing in like one of the tunnels in LA, and he just kind of like he became really good friends with this homeless guy, and like kind of there's this balance that you have to have when you're dealing with someone that one has like is homeless, and then two has some kind of mental thing going on, and you have to have a balance of just being there to be a support system. And he was there, like he tried to like get this guy to live in an apartment. He didn't want to live in an apartment. He tried to get this guy to go to a mental institution, and you gotta approach it as like your relationship with that person first, and then like start to
you can't
work on them that way.
You can't just be like, hey man, I just met you, let's get you into this apartment. It's like, no, like, sometimes the best thing you can do for somebody in that situation is just being there. Like, you don't even have to give them money. Like, even if you know where they're at, you just like, hey man, how's it going? You doing all right? Doing okay today? Need anything? No? All right, man. I'll see you in a couple days. Like, just that. Like, just that is enough. Because I've seen, I mean, granted, it's TikTok. Some things on TikTok are a little fabricated. But I've seen that, like, when I first got on TikTok, when I first started watching TikTok, there was this one elderly black lady. She was living on the streets, and this dude, he went past her the first time and like gave her money, and she was really nice. And then he went back the second time, but he didn't. It wasn't like he was going back like day after day. Like, he went back 1 week, and then the next week he went back again. So like you didn't see her like on an average everyday basis until like probably about a month or two of him going to go see her. And then he started going to go see her like 2 times a week, and then it was 3 times a week, and then just from him being there all the time, she knew that he would come, and whether he would give her anything, like sometimes he would give her stuff and sometimes he wouldn't. Sometimes he would just talk to her, but she knew that he was coming, and so she would always be happy for him to come and always be excited. And as the time went on, like he finally like built a relationship with her after like, it had to be like 3 to 6 months. I don't know exactly the exact time. It had to be like 3 to 6 months that he had been seeing her, and then he started actually buying her things. But it wasn't to a point where she didn't even think of it as, this person's trying to take advantage of me, or this person's just trying to help me. He was a friend already. So it was like a friend helping her out. And that's what she kind of like made a change in herself, and you could kind of see it. You could kind of see in the way that she was dressing, and like she, you know, when you first saw her the very first time, she was like in dirty clothes, and like he kept buying her clothes, so she had new clothes, but she always made sure her clothes were clean. Then after so long, once he started coming back and seeing her, and she realized that somebody cared about her, she started caring about herself. Then on top of that, and then he bought her a house, and she was super grateful. It was such a cool story and such a cool thing to look at, and like things like that. That makes me happy because it gives me hope in humanity. Because you know, being an African American male, obviously the world is very different to me, and sometimes I get crowded by the negativity of what goes around it, you know, just depending on, not even because of the political times, just because of people. Sometimes some people just don't understand, or they just don't even realize that what they're doing is hurting, you know, someone's culture, whether it even be my culture, it be Japanese culture, Korean culture, any culture, just in general. And like even myself, to a point, like it's crazy to even see how like systematically racist we all are as Americans, because it's not even like anything that we did wrong per se. It's just what has been instilled into our brains to even just, we disrespect other people's cultures without even really thinking about it, because like, it's just so normal that we've been doing it for so long to even like, because like I didn't even like think about it. Like, have you seen Aladdin on Disney Plus lately?
Oh, they changed stuff.
They changed stuff on Aladdin, but it has a disclaimer off the immediate top. It literally says that the actions and depictions of this movie do not actually depict of the people of this culture. Oh, wow. And it like pretty much is an apology for it. Yeah. But because it's such a beloved movie, they're not going to take it down because it's Aladdin. But they went through and was like, yeah, no, this isn't culturally appropriate. And we understand that, and like we're sorry. You know, it's a kid's movie, yada yada. I can't tell you what I'll have to send you the actual screen of it because JJ watches it all the time. But it's like legit, like it gives you a disclaimer. It gives you a disclaimer on that one. And I believe it might give you a disclaimer on Mulan as well.
Oh, yeah.
But I
wonder if Pocahontas maybe even too. I don't know.
Pocahontas probably. And then I know that they changed scenes in Lilo and Stitch because...
Yeah, with the dryer scene. I saw that on TikTok.
I was like, wow. And I literally was like, boop, 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 boop,
you're like, wait a minute.
Plus I was like, well, God be damn. They did change that shit. I was like, because you never pay attention to shit like that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and I mean, that's not even a racist thing, but like, just that's how bad things are just normalized. Like, the fact that she got out of a dryer is a safety hazard. Like, so like as a kid, I didn't think anything of it, but as now I have a kid and I'm like, oh, she got out of a dryer?
Yeah, I'm like, that's, I mean, as a kid, I used to play in dryers all the time.
Like, right, as a kid, like, but now as a parent, you're like,
that's dangerous.
That's dangerous. You don't do that. Like, we were just kids at that point, but now we have common sense, so it's just like.
I mean, me and my brother, we used to take cardboard boxes, fill them with blankets, and put each other in the box and chuck each other down the steps.
I mean, okay, I didn't have another brother, but I had friends. We used to do WWE matches, so like, there's so many just things that were dangerous that we shouldn't have done. Like, it's crazy because kids are not as rough as we were back in the day. Oh my God. Like, we were legitimately like, the Attitude Era was the worst possible time to be a child because everybody was breaking bones. Everybody wanted to be a wrestler. Everybody wanted to jump off of shit. Everybody wanted to either be The Rock, Stone Cold, or Jeff Hardy. And so everybody was just jumping off of everything at all times. Like, it's crazy to think and like to watch wrestling now. It kind of hurts sometimes to actually look at wrestling now because it's like, damn, like to think about how we were kids and we grew up and it was so popular. Like, not saying that it's not popular, but like when we were growing up, we were watching it because our parents were watching it. Like, it wasn't because we wanted to watch it and it was like, hey, let's turn on wrestling. No, wrestling was so good that the entire world was watching, including our parents who made us watch it, which made us fall in love with it.
That era of like boxing where you had like Muhammad Ali, like the legends.
Yes.
And now it's Logan Paul and
Jake Paul.
But I think they're doing it in their own kind of like interesting way.
I don't know. I hope we don't fight Tommy Fury.
Oh man!
I hope we don't fight Tommy Fury. Jake, you've definitely proved yourself that you can.
Did you see Pete Davidson Pete Davidson as Jake Paul on SNL last weekend? It's pretty funny.
I'm so dead. Because they're in like
it's funny because
they had beef. They had beef from the Tiller fight because he was dogging him the whole time right to his face. It's like, you don't think this is a complete joke? And he was just like, what?
Dude,
what?
That was hilarious.
I loved Pete Davidson, but that made the respect for Pete Davidson
like,
go off the roof.
Why he invited me here.
Like, because like, here's the thing. Like, not saying that the event was fake, but if you're gonna have a boxing event, why is it being sponsored by Triller?
Yeah,
a social media website. Why is it not being at why is it not at MG Grant? Why isn't it in an actual event? And why is your undercard people who have never fought before? So it on paper was a joke. Like you had Chad Ochocinco in the ring, like he's a football player.
Yeah.
And he won, but it was the ugliest boxing match in the world. Like you might as well just put MMA gloves on people, told them no kicking, and just done street fights. Yeah. Like at that point, so like the respect for Pete Davidson went way out the roof because I like to even get asked to do that. Like I think I want to say it was so much of a joke that Justin Bieber performed. He performed one song and then walked off stage. And like he had another song, he like ran back on stage like, oh shit, I got another song. But that's how much of like someone of like, Justin Bieber's stature, like he's been the like one of the most prized like artists like his entire life. He knows his set list. He knows how many songs he has to do. He knows when his songs are done. He knew that shit wasn't done. He was just like, I'm gonna slide out. Oh damn, you played it anyways. I told y'all not to play the second song. Just play the first one, and we're just gonna walk off because this shit's bullshit. Like you never even saw him again for the rest of the show either. I was just like, well, there he goes. There he goes.
It was crazy.
And then he won Artist of the Year. He clearly wasn't worth his time. Like clearly, like if I was Artist of the Year, I wouldn't have been there. Like if you would have called me, like, hey, you trying to perform in my Triller event?
You're like, wait, what?
Whose number is this? How'd you get this? Click. Like I'm not. It's like I'm up for Artist of the Year. I'm trying to perform at Las Vegas or some shit. Like give me a 50,000 crowd, not a 20,000 crowd full of people that just wants to watch Jake Paul lose. They don't care about anything else other than Jake Paul losing. Yeah. Like
that was like the main event was like, is Jake Paul gonna finally get beat up?
Like he keeps talking about how he's making all this money off these fights, but you're only making money because people want to watch you lose. I get it.
Yeah.
Ponzi scheme. You're smart because you still do it. But
he knows what levels to pull.
You know what levels to pull, but I want you to know it's still a joke to a lot of people. They're like you're conning people, but they're letting you con them. I hope you know that. Like it's a two-way street. Like
it's like I don't know. It's I don't know.
It's just one of those things where you just like you know that this is all for fucking publicity, and it's the money's going right in his pocket, and none of this is for anything spectacular other than Jake Paul. But just for the off chance of Jake Paul getting his shit rocked, you're like, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna just see. I'm trying to see. Like, let me see it. Like, cause that's the thing. Cause you don't want to be caught the day that he does get his shit rocked.
Yeah,
and you weren't
like,
watching.
Oh, I missed it.
I missed him get his shit rocked. Like, you get on Facebook, be like, Jake Paul just got knocked out. What?
You're like, I should have watched. I should have paid. That was the one I should have paid for.
I paid for the last 4. He got like $400 on my money. He could have got 460. Like,
Oh man.
Goodness gracious.
That will be a day, man.
If
that ever happens, that the internet might as well just shut down at that point.
I feel like
internet's over. Jake Paul lost.
I feel like
what else
Jake
is there to talk about?
He's not gonna fight anybody that's an actual boxer because like these people been doing this for years. Like he may be a boxer and he may be good. I'm not discrediting him for that because I'm not gonna sit here and say that I can just straight up box. I can fight. I can't box. There's a whole different. There's two different. Like
two different skill sets.
Training. Like, don't put me in a boxing ring thinking I'm gonna hold my own just because I said I can fight. Like, no. Like, I may get a couple of licks in, but I'm probably gonna get my shit right. But, like,
I feel like if I ever got in a fight, it's gonna be like when you get in like a dream fight and you're like, I feel like. These isn't doing anything,
bro. I fucking hate those fights, bro. Those are the worst fights in the world because I have an anger issue. And imagine being angry in a dream where you're trying to beat somebody's ass and you're just like,
yeah, you're like, I feel like nothing is happening.
The Spider-Man throw from the first movie. It's just like,
You just like see it.
Like I was so upset. Nah, I don't like to fight.
The worst dreams I ever have is like when you have like a specific goal that you need to get done, and you do everything, but like you're like you can't get it done. There's been like DJing. That's like my main gig. There's been so many dreams where I've had where it's like couples that I had like I'm actually doing their wedding for. I'll have a dream where like nothing. I know
right.
There's this wedding that's happening, but I just can't get there. It's like my nightmare.
Oh well, that reminds me of my nightmare back in the day when I was working at Starbucks. I used to legitimate nightmare. I would be in the cafe by myself. The line would be out the door. Oh, yeah. It would be wrapped, and I would just hear the dinging of the thing, and I would just be standing there, and that was my nightmare. It was just me standing there, and people yelling at me from both sides, and I'm just like,
I can't do it. There's been times where there was a couple times I got roped into clopening, where you open and close.
Nope, I already know what you're talking to me about because there was one time.
Close at 11:30.
One time I did it for Megan.
You come back in at 4:30.
She said, "We're slow. Who's going home?" I said, "Megan, you either send me home or I'm walking off this floor because this was horrible." And she was like, "That's right, you cloping. Go home." I was like, "You damn sure Skippy, I'm going home. This is terrible." Because you don't even get to sleep till like 2, and as soon as you get your eyes closed,
you go to bed, you dream about being at Starbucks, and then you get up and you have to go to Starbucks.
Like I remember did the cloping. Sometimes I just like if I knew I had to cloping, I would just look at my bed and be like, my bed's just gonna have to smell like coffee today. I'm sleeping in my clothes. Yeah, I'm just getting up in the morning. Fuck
There's the times where I just like, I literally like if I didn't trust myself to wake up the next day on time, I just sleep in the parking lot. I did that a couple times.
Bro, yeah, actually, I just forgot about this. I completely forgot about this. I forgot that Adam had like the worst time waking up.
Yeah,
you had a vibration pillow. I forgot about that. He had an alarm clock pillow. Like
it's called the atomic bomb.
This is like the way that I met Adam. Like, so we met each other at Starbucks, and like the next day we had a shift together. And I want to say he didn't show up for that shift because he overslept.
I think I was late or something.
And like nobody was upset, and I was like, "Wait, why is nobody mad?" She was like, "Hey, to be honest with you, Adam's a hard worker. He just can't wake up in the mornings. I just don't schedule in the mornings. I made the mistake of scheduling in the morning. I don't know why I did it. He just can't wake up in the morning. I can schedule him all nights and he'll work him just fine. He'll show up on time. But if it's a morning shift, he just can't do it."
She like scheduled me for like 6 o'clock shifts, and I'm like, "Why?" Like
Megan,
I have a hard time getting up that
like
early
sometimes I would look at her like, "You see this shift right here? I'm probably gonna be late. You write me up. You do whatever you need to do. I'm just letting you know right now. It is like a week in advance. Do whatever you got to do to make this right, because I'm gonna be late." She's like, "No, you're good. We should have enough people to cover till you get here." Bet, because I'm gonna probably be like a half hour late because I'm probably gonna sleep till 6 o'clock, and I'm scheduled at 6.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try, but I already know that my alarm clock's gonna go off. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna hit the snooze button. I'm gonna fall back asleep.
My thing was like, there were times I didn't even hear my alarm clock.
Oh,
like it was just like I'd have to have a roommate or somebody like physically shake me to get me up.
I would literally like working at Chipotle because. Bro, Chipotle was the worst job I ever worked at because it was so fucking strenuous and so much fucking work all the time.
You're sweating.
I would literally, there was so many times that I literally didn't go to work because I didn't hear my alarm and would wake up. Like, I had to be there at 9. I would wake up at like 11:30. But the worst part about it is no one called me. I'm like, so y'all just let me sleep. Fuck it. If y'all gonna let me sleep, I'm just gonna go to sleep. And then I'll get a call like, "Hey, are you coming in today? Hey, y'all need a closer?" Because I just kind of, yeah.
Might as well just have me close.
I'll close. I can close. It's fine. I'm sorry. Like,
but oh dang, it's like 8:38. Man, we made the whole podcast out of this. Look at that. We thought that we were like, might as well just do like a half-hour podcast.
A little half-hour podcast, and we got the podcast. Look at us. Look at working.
But yeah, we might as well end it here, dude. We got big things happening.
We got big things happening.
So, yeah, next week, Brian from McCathla, he'll be here.
Brian, hopefully the whole crew will be here as well. Yeah. You know, get the All Circles crew in here.
Yeah.
Get a nice little...
Get the 2 cameras set up.
That's
how you know we're making it, you know?
Oh, yeah. When the camera's set up on the side, just know it's probably 2 of us, little personal one.
Yeah. But, yeah, we'll see you guys next week. And this has been the In Orbit Podcast, so...
Demon War Z coming out this weekend.
It's gonna be on Spotify.
Baby Neutron coming out this weekend for Ev. Who else? Is Andretti Bone coming out with something? Did he say he was coming out with something?
I can't remember.
I don't remember right now.
Shit.
There's a lot of new music coming out.
Podcast.
Yeah, there's a lot of new music coming out in the 330. A lot of great artists coming out. Check them all out.
Come to the music video up at Burnt Pickle.
Yes, sir.
It's next to the Acme in Kent.
Check me out on Instagram _Tez330. Check me out on Facebook, Tez330. Spotify. Check out my radio station, Tez Radio. Just type in Tez Radio and it'll pop up.
Yeah.
Catch y'all later.
Peace.